Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Mining Insider. I hope everyone's having a great day and a great weekend for that matter, because it's Thanksgiving weekend here in the US, which kicks off the start of the new holiday season. And I know a lot of my family and friends are out doing their holiday shopping. I'm looking for some great deals too. But while I'm doing that, I've actually been testing a pre-release of the new Nicehash miner. I'm talking about Nicehash OS V2. But even though it's labeled V2, to me, this is a completely new miner because it's now Ubuntu based, which is very lightweight and robust, and it supports many miners, everything from Excavator, NB Miner, LOL Miner, G Miner, and many of the different coins, everything from Ergo, which is Autolycos, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, Ravencoin, Conflux, and even KHeavyHash, which is KASPA. So it has built-in profitability switching and a lot of other new great features. Although this is a pre-release beta, it's been running great for me so far. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick preview of this new release. It's going to be available to you this week. I believe it's going to be available to you probably on November 28th. So check on the Nicehash Discord, and I'll be putting links down below. But before I start covering this miner, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to press down on that subscribe button. I put a lot of hard work, a lot of time and effort and heart into my videos, and you subscribing means a lot to me. So with that said, let's go look at this new Nicehash miner. Let's begin with a quick discussion on what this new Nicehash OS V2 really is. It's actually a standalone operating system just for mining, similar to the way you would have HiveOS. And it actually installs very similar too. You would normally just flash a drive with the operating system and you'd configure a few parameters and then you'd be able to set up with your miner. So let's go into what is Nicehash OS V2. Nicehash OS or NHOS V2, it's a Linux-based, it's a complete operating system for cryptocurrency mining built upon Nicehash. NHOS V2 is a brand new version of our operating system and it's based on Ubuntu. So what you do is you would normally have, this would normally be, I guess, ideal for probably your medium or larger size rigs, or if you're running a multi-rig farm. And it's kind of using in place, I know a lot of people like myself sometimes too, I'll even use tools like HiveOS to mine into Nicehash. However, I'll have to, create all my flight sheets and everything in HiveOS, and I'll have to redirect them to Nicehash, but I'm also paying HiveOS fees to be able to do that. And some of the downfalls is when I'm using tools like HiveOS, I don't get to take advantage of certain things like the auto profitability switching that's built in natively that you'd have in the Nicehash miner for Windows. And that's what's very different about this new Nicehash OS. So Nicehash OS would actually get installed as an operating system. You don't need Windows or anything else. You would use a tool like Bellini Etcher and you would download the install, and I'm going to put a link down below when I get the official link from Nicehash in the video description, and you'll be able to go to their Discord and get access to this. I guess probably would be a beta release at the time, and you would use a tool like Bellini Etcher, and you would just download that tool, and you would tell it to put it on like a thumb drive, or maybe you have a small SSD. You'd plug that into your mining rig just the same way you would do HiveOS, and you would just go and configure what is your mining address, and then you're kind of all set to go. And all the other, I guess, management as well as the dashboard runs just like it would with your current Nicehash mining rigs, as I'll be showing you shortly. So let's just go over some of the features. So Nicehash OS 2 V2 features has CPU mining, GPU mining of NVIDIA and AMD GPUs, most popular mining algorithms supported by Nicehash, remote overclocking, automatic profit switching, automatic overclocking switching, which is a completely, I guess, new implementation of how they're doing it. They're using what's called bundles. So you'd create profiles for specific cards, for specific miners, or even algorithms, and then you would apply that into a bundle, and you would apply the bundle to a whole rig, as I'll be showing you shortly. So it's really a definite departure from a lot of the ways I would be doing overclocking, whether it be in tools like Nicehash or even a Windows batch file, and even HiveOS. So you're definitely going to want to take a look to see what this is. So Nicehash OS 2 V2 requirements. The new Nicehash OS V2 can be installed similar fashion to the V1. Below you will find a list of all the prerequisites to install it. So you just need like a USB drive. I actually just grabbed a little thumb drive from Best Buy for like I think 128 gig, but that's probably way too big. It says it probably only needs like 8 gigabyte memory. How much? Probably 16 or 32 would probably work too for it. Actually, excuse me, it says right here 16. So I should have just read it myself. An image with Nicehash O2 found on the Nicehash Discord, a PC with flashable software like Bellini Echo or Rufus, a mining system with at least 4 gig, but although 8 gig is recommended, and I always use 8 gigabytes on my PCs. And you'd be able to flash this to the USB drive, and they have complete instructions that you'll be able to download when you download this new version of the miner. Not going to take up a lot of time with it, but it's really straightforward. Once you've done it once with HiveOS or creating any other image using these tools, it's very, very straightforward. Configuring the software. So once you've done and you've actually created your image, you're going to unplug the drive and replug it back in, and then you'll see it appear as a new drive. And then you're going to want to go in and you're going to just want to update what is your mining address. And you would use your same mining address that you use for Nicehash. You'd just be putting that Nicehash, your mining address in there, and then you should be able to just go to your mining rig and plug it in. And from there, you should be all set and start being able to access things remote from the dashboard. For my demonstration of the new Nicehash OS v2, I'm going to actually be using one of my favorite rigs. This is actually my AAA wave rig, and it consists of 8 matching RTX 3070 graphic cards. These are all Founders Edition cards, and they're using these really cool PCIe risers from AAA Wave. So I'll have a link down below if you're interested in them. But I've already gone ahead and to set up this, I've disconnected the SSD drive because previously it was running HiveOS, and I've already flashed the new Nicehash OS 2 onto this thumb drive. So let me take this thumb drive, let me go to the back of the computer, and all I have to do is plug in the HiveOS, plug in the Nicehash OS to there, and that'll be what it's going to be using for a boot. If you're having problems, you may have to configure your BIOS to be booting from your USB before anything else if needed. So I turn this on and voila, there it is. It's a beautiful rig coming on. So this is my 8 RTX 3070 matched cards. And you can see though too, this is actually the display that's plugged into the integrated display. However, once the miner starts up and running, that display is not going to work anymore. So if you have onboard graphics with the chip like I do, it's not going to help you. So to get around that, what Nicehash did, and they even had in their instructions, is whatever graphic card is plugged in closest to your main display, and I actually have this plugged into the main display on a X1 PCIe riser, and that's actually connected to this screen here. So up there we go, we see the Nicehash OS is coming up, and you see the Nicehash miner screen is coming up, and momentarily you'll see a list of the different graphic cards there. You also see some other information too on the Nicehash version, the AMD versions, the driver versions, and once that comes up, then too we know the miner is up and running, and it should start actually just trying to get to work right away. There we go. We have our 8 different graphic cards, as well as information on our CPU if you were CPU mining, but I'm not a CPU miner, so I can't really speak much about that. So our rig is up and running right now. It's looking great. I hear the fans are starting to come on. So now let's go over to the Nicehash dashboard where we could administer and see everything that's going on. So here I am on my Nicehash dashboard, and you can see there's a new rig name here. This is CMI for Crypto Mining Insider. This is Nicehash OS, the V2, and I can click into it and it would look just like any other rig. However, I have a lot more metrics now available to me. So from this, let me scroll down a little bit. You can see CMI NHOS 2 mining rig is 8 of 8. So there's 8 graphic cards in here. So this is really a full-blown GPU mining rig. I have my 8 3070s. They are all mining, not surprising, K-heavy hash. So they're kind of mining KASPA right now, and it gives you some ideas of the different hash rates. Remember, one of the cards is actually plugged into a display right now, so that's why I was able to show you a preview of that. That's probably why it's running a little bit low. So the tuning and overclock, I'm not saying these are the most optimal overclocks I'm giving you. I just kind of really want to demonstrate the tool and just giving some rough overclocks. I'm going to be doing some more overclock updates for a lot of different cards in future videos. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to be giving some new really great updates that are probably the best I've seen so far for even doing K-heavy hash or KASPA mining. So focusing back on our tool, we have our 8 different graphic cards. We can currently see the status of them, the temperature, the core clock, memory clock, fan speed, power mode, load, and what the power usage is of the different cards and the different miners. See, when we're using a tool like NiceHash, it's very, very different than when we're using tools like HiveOS, because HiveOS is also its own operating system, and it's a wonderful tool. I have so many rigs on it, and I use it all the time. However, you're always focused on chasing what to mine, seeing what's profitable, or maybe with your spec mining, seeing what you're going to be mining. NiceHash, the key to NiceHash is, remember, is you want to be able to mine anything you can given your current hardware, making sure you have enough power to be able to run the different algorithms, because no matter what you mine, you're going to be paid in Bitcoin. So to me, it doesn't matter if I'm mining Ethereum Classic, if I'm mining Ergo, if I'm mining K-Heavy Hash, KASPA, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be paid everything in Bitcoin. So the whole name of the game with this new miner is to do the auto profitability switching. So it's really an intuitive part of this new Nicehash OS v2. Doesn't matter what you're mining, as long as you have the correct hardware, you can safely mine it and save power to do it. But you want to be able to mine on every opportunity you can for every coin. So with that in mind, our end goal is to make as much Bitcoin as we can. Don't care what we're doing, how we're doing it, as long as we're mining Bitcoin. The one big thing that I think is a limiter with this, though, although it will do the auto profitability switching, as I'll show in a little bit, is it does not have the ability to enter your electric costs. So to me, that's kind of very misleading to choose profitability, because unless I know how much my electric cost is, I don't really know if I'm genuinely profitable. So let's say, for example, I may be running K-heavy hash like I'm running right now, and I'm only using 120, 125 watts or thereabouts. And maybe it's making X amount. Maybe Ravencoin or Octopus is making 2x that amount. However, it's using substantially more electric to do it. So if I don't have the ability to enter my electricity costs, I really don't know. It could be actually making me less money without that. I've spoken with the NiceHash team. I actually had a meeting with them. We had a conference the other day. We were on a Zoom type call, and we were discussing these. And these are definitely some features that they plan to add. They're very well aware of it and the importance of it. And this is a beta, or I guess an alpha pre-release version of the miner. So there's going to be a lot of new features. But unless they kind of draw the line in the sand somewhere and at least get this first version out, we wouldn't have anything to play with. So with this new version out, I'm really impressed by at least the first round of features that I'm seeing in it. However, configuring this miner is very different from any of the miners you've used before. It's kind of a little bit like Nicehash Miner, a little bit like Quick Miner, but they've introduced some new concepts called bundles, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Looking at the NiceHash dashboard for my 8 RTX 3070 graphic cards, it may look pretty complicated, and it is. However, it's a little bit simpler because at least it's using all the same graphic card. So for me to specify overclock settings and things is not as complicated as it would be if I had multiple or different graphic cards within the same rig. And there's a lot of different information that NiceHash actually has to keep track of, and you actually have to set up and specify yourself manually, because the different overclock settings, the different fan settings for the different algorithms, for the different miners, there's a lot of different combinations there that have to be kind of set up and configured. And all that information now is managed and handled in what NiceHash refers to as a bundle. And a bundle is really a collection of different profiles. So if you're familiar with QuickMiner, the concept is really you create a profile for an algorithm for this GPU, and these would be the overclock settings that'd be applying to it. And a lot of times too, we had the ease and ability with QuickMiner, we could specify like, light, medium, or heavy for our overclock settings and just let it go to work. Unfortunately, in this version of the NiceHash OS v2, there's no built-in overclock settings that's really defined that. You have to manually go in and do that. But hopefully they'll be providing us some templates, so I guess work from in the near future. I know that's definitely on their list, but they just wanted to get this at least initial iteration of the NiceHash OS v2 miner out. Let me give you a quick summary of what the dashboard is and what the features are, so you don't have to click around all day like I did. So this is the miner, and it appears just like any other rig here. These are my different graphic cards, the statuses, temperatures, core clock, memory clock applied, the fan speed, the power mode, load, power usage, and what miner is currently running on it at the time. I could enable or disable any device independently, as well as too, if I want to see this little overclock settings here, will actually just doesn't change anything. It just shows me what overclock setting is being applied. It's really what profile is being applied right now. So I've actually created this KHeavyHash OC3070 profile, as I'll show you in a little bit, and it's using that while it's trying to mine the KHeavyHash algorithm. There's also the fans. I could specify my own profile for that, and then I specified a generic 70%. And if I wanted to just, see from there, it's just an easy way for me to see the different overclock settings that are being applied to it. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, is because all this information now, there's a lot of different profiles. So you're only looking at one type of graphic card mining one algorithm, which is KHeavyHash, which is KASPA. But the thing is if you have multiple graphic cards, if you have multiple miners, multiple algorithms, then you're going to have many, many profiles. And Nicehash manages all those different profiles and combines them into what they call now a bundle. And a bundle in Nicehash, if you read from their document, what are bundles and how to set them up? Bundles are sets of profiles that you can combine together into one big bundle that has all the overclock, fan, and ELP settings for that rig. So these bundles are applied at a rig level. They're not applied at an individual GPU. You can't apply individual, I want to use this profile for this card. I want to use this profile for this card. Everything in this sense is handled at the bundle level, and a bundle is applied to a rig. So you can see here, I have my bundle, my CMI 3070. I've already spent a lot of time defining this bundle. And in here, I could define no bundle, which will mean it'll kind of just start off from scratch. It doesn't have any overclock settings. It doesn't know what to do really in that sense until you really set up and define your overclock settings. If not, everything is just going to start mining and benchmarking by default, but it's just going to be using all the stock settings. So if you want to create a profile or a bundle, you would come into, let me just reapply mine so I don't go crazy with my power and stuff on it. But you would actually come into each individual graphic card. And this is where there's two selections here really. So if you click in, there's an optimize and there's select miners and algorithms. So optimize is going to give me the option of being able to set up a profile. So in here, I would be able to set up what algorithm, what miners I wanted to do, as well as if I want to specify some overclock settings. If I wanted to do certain overclocks, memory clocks, power of core clocks settings, and then I could apply and test it to make sure it works okay. Because if it crashes the card or if it crashes the miner, it's supposed to stay okay and reset it without crashing the whole entire rig. So a lot of times you'll apparently want to apply your different overclock settings as you're testing it. And you may want to be testing it on different miners, different algorithms. And then when you're done with that, you're going to be saving that as a new profile. And then you'll also, if you have something specific for your fan, you could specify a lot of individual parameters for your fan, target GPU temperature, hotspot temperatures, other temperatures too, and you can create fan profiles. And you group them all together in that logical bundle that I was talking to you earlier about. I really look forward for them to have the ability for them to have those kind of pre-made templates for the different graphic cards, and I know that's one of their goals. But you would be able to save that then as a new profile then too. And when you're testing, it will actually show you that it's going into test. Like right now, you should see this card should say it's going into a test mode. And when it goes into a test mode to try it out, let me just wait till it gets there. It should be in a testing pattern. And it's still mining while it's doing it, but it's kind of watchdogging it to make sure it's not going to crash. And if it does, it'll revert back. And I believe it's testing it based on the graphic card that's selected right here. So let me just tell it stop testing and let it go back to its default parameters that I already have set up for my bundle per se. So it's just kind of a different interface to get used to, and you're going to have to specify different profiles for different miners, for different graphic cards, for different algorithms. And in addition to being able to specify that, the other thing that's very, very important is now for each individual graphic card, you have the ability to specify what miner or algorithm you want it to use. So in this case, this one still thinks it's testing. Do I have to refresh it? No, it's done testing. Okay. So I have the ability to select the different miners and algorithms. So the bundles would really be all the different profiles when it is mining. However, if I want to say, hey, I only want to be using NB miner, or maybe I want to only be using LOL miner or only certain algorithms, this is where you would select the miners and algorithms per GPU. So each individual card, I could come in and say, okay, well, you could see right now I have GMiner is enabled and LOL miner is enabled. And you're going to have to click in here and you're going to have to select which algorithms you want it to mine. So as you add more algorithms for it to be able to mine, you're going to want to make sure you have profiles set up and also, part of that new bundle that you're going to create too. Otherwise, you're not going to have the proper overclocks for it. And if I wanted to make sure, hey, well, right now this is currently, I see everything is using Gminer, but if I wanted to just turn Gminer off, I don't want it to be able to use Gminer. I want it to just be able to use the algorithms that I have in LOL miner. I would apply that here. And now this specific selected miner should be switching now. See, you can see it's only using LOL miner. So I can narrow down what algorithms and what miners are being done on individual cards. However, I can't individually specify, this card is going to be using these overclocks. I have another, a 3070 is essentially a 3070. I can't set, well, this card is running, needs a little bit more power, and this other 3070 needs a little bit more memory. I can't specify them individually, at least with this version of the Nicehash OS. So I just kind of wanted to give you that picture. And you kind of really have to play with it. It's kind of complex. It seems somewhat confusing until you start thinking about it and seeing what it's doing and how it works. But it's a new concept and it's their new approach. So I just kind of wanted to save you, I guess, a lot of the pain of understanding of how this is set up and just kind of demonstrate it to you. When you come in by default, you are not going to be having any profile set up. Like right now, shoot, I don't have anything set up. Everything's running full power. I have to go back to and set up now my bundle. Now I set up my bundle and everything should start mining on that. I don't know how that happened, but now everything is applying. I'm seeing my overclocks are being applied. So again, a bundle is applied at the rig level. And it's just going to be something you're going to have to play with to get used to. But you're going to specify it, per mining rig. And you could specify the, if you now want to take that and put it to another rig, you have to make sure that it has the same graphic cards. If it has different graphic cards or you want to mine different algorithms, you're going to have to create a different bundle for that. The last thing I want to demonstrate on this new miner is how do you actually create a new profile. So you would come to your graphic card and you would click on the triple ellipsis button on the far right, and you want to make sure that your miner or the algorithm is really enabled. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select miners and algorithms, and I'm going to see a list of the different miners available. So in my case, let me click on NB miner, and the only one I wanted to do, let's see, NB miner, enable a miner, and I'm just going to want to say add the ability to do Kapow or Octopus. These are core intensive algorithms, so make sure you have adequate power supplies. Your wiring is really good because it's going to be using more power to run these algorithms. If I click apply on this, and then it'll come back, and now right away it's going to benchmarking. But I really want to be able to get into optimize, but I have to, I think, wait for the benchmarking to complete. Let me wait for that to complete, and once that completes, I should be able to click on the optimize. Okay, so it completed its benchmarking, and it still say it's mining Kapow. I guess that's the most profitable at the moment. But again, that's probably because it doesn't know the cost of electricity. But now I can come in and click on optimize. So within optimize, I'll be able to click the different algorithms. So if I want to be able to say, hey, this is a great algorithm for Kapow and Octopus, I'll be able to select both of them. Let me just click those two. So that's good for Kapow as well as Octopus. They're both selected. And then I would come in here and I would select which miner. And I don't really care what miner it is because I would be using those same overclock settings regardless of if I was using NB miner or maybe even excavator or something if that was enabled. So I could just keep it generic to all miners for now. And this would be my overclocking setting. So currently by default it would be picking the last resort. But what I want to do is for this algorithm, it's more core intensive. So maybe I want to go bring the core, I'm just picking some arbitrary numbers. Let's just say 200, that would be down. So let's just say 14. Wrong button. 1500 is what I'll set it at. And memory clock, I can leave that at its default. I do not need a boosted memory clock offset, and maybe I'll say set the set fans for this to say 75%. And I could apply test it to make sure it works stable. And if it works stable, then I could untest it. And then I would be able to come in here and go, hey, okay, I want to save this new profile. And now it gives me the ability to come in here and say, okay, for this GPU for 3070, algorithm is KASPA or Octopus. All miners, any miners running them, core clock is this, memory clock is this, power limit is this. So now I would say, let's say, power Octopus 3070 overclock. And that would be all I need. Now I save that overclock setting. Now if I wanted to do something additional too with the fans, I could specify some more fans. Maybe I wanted to run the fans even higher than 70, but I think in my situation that'll probably work okay. Now the key thing I'm going to have to do is go to the bundle manager to make sure this really applies. So in the bundle manager, I can't modify my bundle as you recall from before. So I would actually come in, select my existing bundle. And what I would do is I would click make a copy, and I'll pick a different color. Let's call this CMI Rig 3, create a copy of that bundle. And now I can keep all my existing bundles in there, except now I just want to add this one in. So now I have Kapow is going to be the first one it's going to look for anytime that's there. And now I have that profile in there. That's good. And I save it. Now I have a new bundle, which is CMI 3070 Rig 3, and you can see it's blue. Now I'd go back to the mining manager, close this up, and I would pick actually, if I look here, like it's mining Kapow, but it's using this other, generic last resort. It's not really using this specific one. So I would actually come in here and I would pick my CMI 3070 Rig 3, and now the whole entire rig takes on the characteristics of this new bundle. And now I could, one by one, I could go to the different graphic cards and I could say, hey, buddy, you now have the ability, we've added overclocks for Kapow and Ravencoin, Kapow, which is Ravencoin, as well as Octopus. So I could come in to NBMiner, add that, and let's just look at here. Don't want that. I don't want that, but I want to have Kapow and Octopus. Those are also options on that. So one by one, I'm going to have to go down through the different graphic cards, and I would add the ability for it to be able to mine those other algorithms on those cards. And one by one, you'll see it go through, and it'll probably benchmark. I would think it would benchmark again. Yeah, see, it's benchmarking it again. And that's kind of all there is to it. So it's definitely a big departure for any of the overclocking and profiles we've done in the past, because you just have to think of things as a bundle and put all your profiles into a bundle. And just kind of getting used to these different controls, used to just hovering over controls to see what are really the overclock profiles that are applied to them. And I think it's kind of a little bit overwhelming in a sense, especially if you're new to this. But I think it has a lot of promise, and I think we're going to be seeing some refinements in the user interface and the tools going forward. And I really, really look forward to those built-in templates going forward. So that about wraps it up for me today. And I just kind of wanted to show you this peek, even though it turned into a long video of this, because there was really a lot of points to cover here. I didn't want you guys to suffer the same way I had to kind of suffer figuring a lot of this out. And hopefully this helps you. And if you're looking to go play with this new miner, it's going to be available. Again, I believe on November 28th is the date that they told me they're going to be releasing it to the public as, I guess, a pre-release, either alpha or beta. So go check out their Discord. I'll be putting links down below. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching this long. If you have, please remember to give me a big thumbs up, like, and don't forget to press down on that subscribe button. That's the motivation. That's what keeps me here. I put a lot of hard work and effort into my videos, and it really means a lot. So until next time, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.